Welcome back to another episode of Playing Voodoo. I'm your host Derek, and today I'll be recapping Australian Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, episode 12. Let's get straight to it. So I'll be giving my top 5 moments of the episode, what I enjoyed the most. If you're not familiar with the format, be sure to just check out our previous episodes that we have up on whatever you're listening, YouTube or Spotify. We're also on Twitter at Playing Voodoo Pod. Make sure to follow us there. Now let's get back to it. My number 5 moment of Australian Survivor Heroes vs. Villains episode 12 was immediately seeing the new Heroes tribe back at camp after the vote out, where we saw Ben go home and Flick played a fake idol provided by Sean through Simon. Or provided by Simon through Sean. Wow. So Flick is upset, very upset at Simon, thinks that Simon was aware that the idol was fake, and tried to pull a fast one on the original Heroes tribe by duping Sean into believing that the idol was real. It wasn't. We've established that the idol did not come with paper, therefore it was not a legitimate hidden immunity idol. What was Simon thinking? I have no idea. Sean, this is now the second time. He's played twice, 2 seasons. His first season, he was duped by a fake idol from David. This time from Simon. That's not what you want on your resume, to say the least. He had the wool pulled over his eyes, per Flick's words. And you know what she wants to do? She wants to blow up Simon's game. So what she does is, once they get to the reward challenge, she exposes what went down at Tribal Councils, says that it was a fake idol. Simon used it as a ploy to get in with the boys. Simon is shocked. George wants Simon to explain himself and kind of expose all the lies that Simon had been portraying. Kind of give George a little foot against Simon, a little bit of a dig there. So yeah, that was just very entertaining. I understand exactly where Flick is coming from, her perspective. How could you not know the idol is fake? How could you not know that? I honestly don't know what Simon was thinking. Obviously, he thought it was real. Turned out not to be real. And it's to his detriment, because I don't know where he's going to go from here. Because early on in the episode, we saw him kind of get a little bit of a moment saying he's back to playing like a hero. He's back to his roots. This feels second nature. And now he's just kind of like a lost puppy out there with no one to turn to. And this leads me into my number 4 moment of the episode. My number 4 moment of the episode for Australian Survivor Heroes vs. Villains episode 12 is the new alliance forming within the Villains tribe. Yes, we see Nina, David, Sam, and Liz forming as a 4, with presumptively the 3 outsiders being Haley, Sean, and Simon. Now, we anticipated something that was going to happen this episode. There was possibly a potential blindside of Haley that was going to go down. I'll get more into that later on in my favorite moments. But that did not come into fruition due to a twist in the game. But yeah, I just want to note that dynamic of those people working together is very interesting, because you have Liz, who's part of the Spice Girls with George and Shawnee. They're currently on the Heroes tribe, and Liz is alone. We saw Jordy go home a few episodes ago now, and she pretty much has no one else, no ties to anyone on the current Villains tribe. So it makes sense from her perspective, and it makes sense from Nina, David, and Sam's perspective to bring her in, not only because she's a number, but 2, because she has a hidden immunity idol that they could use in their favor. So that's something I want to keep an eye on moving forward. We did see, this is jumping ahead a bit, but it seems like Nina and David and Sam still want to continue working with Liz moving forward beyond what we saw from this episode. That's a little bit of a spoiler for my favorite moment of the episode, but I don't want to get into it too much. My number 3 favorite moment of the episode has to be George. again, so we get a little bit more of George. He's looking into the future. So currently that Heroes Tribe has 4 strong, being George, Shawnee, Jerry, and Stevie, with the 2 outsiders being Flick and Matt. Now George wants to bring Matt in. He's looking to the future. He knows he doesn't have the numbers, but he has a strong, tight-knit 4 and make it a 5 once Liz rejoins the Heroes Tribe, which she does later on in the episode. I'll get to that, like I've been saying. So that he needs more numbers, because what we're currently at going into episode 12 was 7 people on the heroes and 6 people on the villains. So that's 13 total people. If he feels like he has 5, he needs at least 1 more, if not 2, to secure the majority. And he's pretty close, so he's trying to bring Matt aboard. Matt is unwilling to make the commitment, it seemed like at the time. And he was surprised by the deal. I think that's foolish of Matt. You have to say what you say, to be honest, to ensure that people feel comfortable with you and want to keep you in the game. Doesn't seem like George wasn't pleased with Matt's being uncommittal or to move forward with said alliance. So I don't see that proposal being something that's thrown out there again, and he could very well be one of the next ones to go on that tribe. Maybe it's Flick. We'll see. But that's something to monitor. So George knows he needs the numbers come merge. He probably doesn't have them right now. And he's the star of the show. So yeah, obviously it's got to be one of my favorite moments of the show. And this leads me into my number 2 moment of the episode. Yes, my number 2 moment. So we see the Villains Tribe throw the challenge. Yes, they throw the immunity challenge because they want to take out Simon. Sean pretty much says that he feels like his deal with Simon is off. He did swear on his kids for the idol, but since the hit immunity idol that Simon provided was fake, the deal is null and void. It's you can't cash that check no more, Simon. So they pretty much decided to throw the challenge. And the funny thing is, the 1 point that the Villains Tribe does win in the challenge is from Liz, who gets in a disagreement with Simon earlier in the episode because Liz knows what happened with Simon's idol. Simon won't just straight up admit that he gave it to the Heroes Tribe to use, which Haley said, which Flick said, sorry. And we see Liz even show Simon her idol. So yeah, it's just kind of funny to see that the one person that helped the Villains Tribe possibly win immunity to this challenge, who got a point, was Liz. And we see Simon sit out. He doesn't control his own fate in this challenge. Sucks to see. You hate to see that. And I harken back on the time in which Simon, a few tribals ago now, a handful or so, in which he was at tribal with George and the rest of the villains, and there was an individual immunity challenge. He had not competed in an individual immunity challenge in his Survivor career. That was the first one. And he said he had the chance to protect himself, just himself. And this time around, he chose to sit out and did not. He forfeited that opportunity, in a sense. We even see Jonathan, the host, say, "You should have played something along those lines. It's because you sat out, brother," something like that. So this is back-to-back weeks now that we've seen challenges thrown. One on the Heroes Tribe, now on the Villains Tribe. I'm not sure we've seen this quite so blatantly in any Survivor season, US, Australian, whatever. Yeah, it's something new. I understand it. I mean, it's a numbers game at this point. Everyone is trying to capture the numbers heading into the merge, so it makes sense from that perspective. This is kind of the time you want to strike hot and get out those big threats and secure the numbers. So yeah, it's something to look at moving forward. Maybe we see another challenge thrown leading into the merge. That'd be wild. You never know. Could very well happen. Obviously, they're not going to merge next episode, because this leads me into my number 1 moment of the episode, which was Liz rejoining the Heroes Tribe. Yes, She is back with Shaunie and George. The Spice Girls are reunited. Let's go. So Jonathan threw a twist at Tribal Council. So the Villains Tribe lost immunity, like I just said. They threw the challenge. It seemed like Haley was going to get blindsided. And or possibly one of Liz or Simon going home. However, Jonathan proposed this twist, or he didn't propose it. He enacted this twist in which they weren't voting for someone to go home that night, but rather you could vote your own name as immunity to go to the other tribe if you want to. Otherwise, you could just abstain your vote. So, from what it seemed like, possibly Liz could have gone, and possibly Simon, because Simon's a lone wolf as well. And the rest of the Villains Tribe, which were original heroes, didn't really make sense for them. And we see Liz back with Shaunie and George. Like I said, the Spice Girls are reunited. We love to see that. We love to see that. So now the tribe makeup is there are 6 people on the Villains Tribe, with Simon kind of being the odd one out, more than likely. And now we have 7 on the Heroes Tribe, with probably a very strong 5. Although if you watch the preview, it did seem like Liz says that George might be getting on her nerves. He's wants to control the game and be the vocal part of the alliance of what goes down in the strategic voice. We'll see about that. I don't anticipate that actually affecting what they have going on, but we'll see. This season's been exciting so far. I'm loving it. And yeah, be sure to tune in to the next episode. I'll be giving my top 5 moments again for episode 13 and 14. And then hopefully after that, Alex will join me to do our weekly recap, in which we'll recap 13 and 14 a bit and talk about episode 15, which will happen at the end of the week. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this content. We're going to be also covering Survivor Season 44. Yes, that will be dropping next week. Next week is the first episode. So be sure to stay tuned for that content as well. We're very excited. We just did a draft on our Season 44 draft. That episode dropped a few days ago. Be sure to check that out and let us know down in the comments who you think won the draft, or who do you think is going to win the season of US Survivor Season 44. We want to hear from you guys. For now, just follow us on Twitter at Playing Voodoo Pod. I'm Derek. This is Playing Voodoo, where split vote is not safe.